shows that maybe a house doesn't have to be like one fixed thing. You could adapt it as you go along. So it kind of changing the norm of what construction should be in the future.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to one more episode of Meet Our Sponsors. And before I start with the interview, I'd like to share with you a small introduction about who Team ESTEEM is and what the competition is about.
Team ESTEEM from Heriot-Watt University are the only UK team who are finalists in the Solar Decathlon Middle East 2020. A team of over 60 students from all over the world collaborating across 12 sub-teams to design one solar-powered house of the future. We are challenging you to build a future to be proud of. Our home combines traditional Scottish and Middle Eastern architecture with modern technology to create a sustainable, energy-efficient housing solution for the future. Team ESTEEM, pride in where and how we live.
I hope you're all having an amazing day. My name is Priyanka, and today we have Miss Lucy Wales from IES. So, would you like to say more about yourself for our viewers?
Sure. So I'm Lucy Wales. I've been working with IES. I've been there for about a few years now. So we work a lot in building energy modelling and simulation. So I've been there I was an intern at first and then got involved in a lot of projects since then, including the Heriot-Watt ESTEEM project. So hopefully I can tell you more about that as we go on.
Yeah, I have a few questions about your opinions on general topics as well as your contributions to the house. Tell us what you majored in from university and what interested you about it.
So I studied mechanical engineering at Glasgow University. So I kind of always wanted to do something maybe a bit more practical. So I went for engineering, and I think the course at Glasgow was really good for giving like a good kind of overview of a lot of different subjects. Maybe like introduced me to manufacturing and maybe more the data side, and then simulation stuff, and then that kind of led me into when I worked with IES, because they do a lot of obviously like simulation software. So it was really good for just giving you a good basis in like introducing you to loads of different subjects and stuff within uni. I feel I kind of learned as I went along, so I knew I wanted to do something like in that area roughly, like with more practical like than just like say pure maths or something. And then as the course went on, I figured out what I actually enjoyed doing, and then especially the master's project, I was able to because I had to model a component that was failing in a manufacturing process, and I really enjoyed the simulation side of that. So I knew I wanted to kind of do something more in that area, and then I discovered IES is very relevant to that. So that's kind of what led me to where I am now.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. So tell us more about your company and what do you do for them?
So we make building modeling software. I think the most well known is the virtual environment, but I work mainly with the ICL, which is the Intelligent Communities Lifecycle tools, which were released a few years ago now, like 2018. So the virtual environment is for like doing detailed analysis for say one building. So the ICL applies that analysis to like a wider scale. So you can apply it to, rather than just one building, like a whole community or a whole campus or even like a whole city. A project I'm working on at the moment is trying to model the entire city in England. So it's quite exciting. It's more of a research project because we're kind of pushing the boundaries of what our tools can do at the moment. So there's a lot of challenges along the way, but it's cool because we're trying to adapt the tools to kind of be able to do what we want to do. Like I'm also involved in that kind of aspect of the company as well. So like if we want to improve the software, we can like test it out or suggest new improvements for it to kind of get where we want to go with it.
Oh, that's interesting. There has been this common topic about digital twins. It's like a recently discussed topic in the construction industry as well. So would you like to tell the viewers what exactly are digital twins and how are they currently used?
Yeah, so I think the term is used quite a lot. So maybe some people use it a bit differently, but from when I would talk about it, I'd say like when we create our building models, we're trying to replicate as close as possible like an actual building, like how it operates in reality. So like we can create a model and like calibrate it with energy bills and things, but we want to make it so that because our models are like physics based, as close a copy as you can to the actual building in real life, so that when you do perform like different analysis or like future scenarios on this building, you'll be able to see like exactly how it would perform.
Mm-hmm. That's very informative. We know like the pandemic has caused a lot of issues within the workforce. So how was it for you? Like how did you manage quarantine? Did it affect your work?
I'd say I was quite lucky in because a lot of the stuff we do with IES is using like software online. So a lot of it's just on our laptops anyway. And then a lot of it is like good for calibration, like online, so with other people in remote places. So it was a relatively smooth enough transition to starting to work from home. And so we've been doing that since March now, which seems mad. So it was pretty good in that regard, although it's still a bit weird to get in just having constant Zoom calls with people and stuff like that, or Microsoft Teams. It's not really the same as just having people around you. And we've got some interns that just started and they've not met like anyone because we're all at home. Yeah, so still getting used to that. It's been okay.
That's great to hear. So how is IES contributing to the project?
So we've given access for the Heriot-Watt team to all of our tools, so the virtual environment and all the ICL tools as well. So just so they can use that in any aspect of the project. And we gave a few in-person kind of training sessions as well a few months ago, last year. I think it was December maybe, before that. Yeah, so we just kind of gave an introduction. We've used them before in the past and what projects we've done with them. And then I think we were able to kind of give more of a general maybe expertise on any experience we've had on projects and consultancy in general. So they were students that we met were able to ask us things, maybe guide their way through the project as well. So hope we could contribute in that way too.
Yeah, the access especially has been really helpful for us in the workshops and everything. It's helped us how to analyze how the house works when it's actually built in terms of a lot of stuff, energy consumption, everything. So yeah, thank you very much for
Good to hear.
your support. So why did you decide to partner with us? Is there any experience you hope to gain from it?
I think because the ICL software is so new in the past few years, it's always good to get like more people using it. And I know a lot of people, when I spoke to the students when we met at the workshops, they all knew the VE software, like they've used that in courses and stuff, but like no one knew what the ICL was. So it's always good to try and just introduce a whole like new year of students to this new software and what you can do with it, because I think there is a lot you can do and it is quite exciting, I find. Yeah, so it was good for just getting feedback in general and just showing people the potential of the software. And then also kind of it helped me a lot because I had to like show this new software to a lot of new people, and then so it was kind of making sure I knew what I was talking about too, because we do a lot of what we do with the software is training people how to use it. So that was another perfect example.
Yeah. How do you think this project can impact the future of construction?
I think from what I've heard about it from the workshops and then seeing all the information on like the STEAM pages and stuff, it sounds really exciting just because it's kind of coming at it from a different angle and sort of setting like different challenges in terms of construction, like especially the like time restrictions and like so you've got like 2 weeks to like construct this whole building and then also has to be deconstructed in at the same time and then like not produce any waste and along with that, like those kind of change the sort of norm of what could be expected from a construction project. So it shows that you could like do so much more with it if those are restrictions that are in place, and then I wouldn't say them like as restrictions if that's just how you should be built in the future. It shows that maybe a house doesn't have to be like one fixed thing, you could adapt it as you go along. So it kind of changing the norm of what construction should be in the future. But yeah.
Yeah, I agree. So have there been any challenges you have faced in achieving sustainable initiatives in your company?
I'd say I think our tools help a lot in that area. I think in a lot of the projects we do are people who are like, it's become more of a focus for the goals in the future, like zero carbon, like by 2050 and things like that. I wouldn't say it's an issue. I'd say maybe just allowing our software to have as much impact as possible. And then because everyone's just really keen at the moment, and then all the projects we're doing are reducing carbon emissions. That's a new focus. So I don't know if it's an issue. It's maybe just that we need to maybe expand more to handle it because we are quite a small company. But I think there's a lot we can do with our software. We're quite ambitious, I'd say. Like we want to, like our CEO is always going on about modeling like every building in the world. So like, I think our only issue is like maybe we need more people to do that work. But like, so I'd say that's my main issue. But, yeah.
So yeah, even my next question is kind of related to that. So how is your company planning to adapt to the future goals such as net zero energy, carbon neutral buildings?
Mm-hmm. I'd say like we have been adapting the past few years with this introduction of all this new software. So I think it's about 25 years they've been focusing on the VE, virtual environment software. That's been their main tool, and their main work has been consultancy projects on using that software. But now, like the introduction of these new ICL tools, we can apply that analysis and the benefits we can get from the VE to like a much larger set of buildings, different kinds of projects, and it's just opened up a whole world of different things we can do with it. The VE is good for like obviously doing a very detailed analysis of one building, but then with the ICL we can model like whole campuses, like whole cities, as we were saying. And then there's other tools like such as SCAN and the IVN, which I think you also have access to, which will start looking at like the network side of things in terms of like electricity and heating of like a community as well. and then like scan in terms of like analyzing data, and then actually kind of interrogating or seeing how a building is actually operating, so you can see if it's not operating how you should, or just monitoring it more. So there's just so many other areas that we can now do because of the introduction of this new software. So I say that's how we've been adapting to trying to cope with these new challenges.
That's great. Is there any message you would like to send to the future graduates aiming to join the construction industry?
Yeah, I think as I only graduated a few years ago, and like I was very aware, like for uni, I wasn't sure exactly what I wanted to go into, like what area. So I think my advice would just be to try as many different things as possible, because you won't know what you like until you actually do it. So I worked in like manufacturing, like heavy manufacturing, and it was really interesting. But I was like, maybe I don't want to do this exact thing. But then there was aspects of it I did enjoy, so went into that further and found like IES, which was I found way more interesting because I enjoy like the whole data analysis side of it, which I get to do a lot in this job. So I'd say just try as many things as possible. And I think the STEAM project in general is ideal for that, because it's like working on an actual project and you get to see all these different sides of it. But yeah, so just get involved is I think my main message.
Yeah, exactly. Like with this ESTEEM project, we have been looking at different aspects. Instead of just construction, we have a lot of other stuff. We got introduced to building modeling, which once upon a time, most of us wouldn't have known, like, oh, okay, you can only be an architect or a civil engineer. But yeah, there's building modeling, which is a whole new profession. It's
It's just showing what you can do. There's just so much out there.
Yeah, exactly. So thank you very much, Miss Lucy, for joining us today and sharing all this information about how it is like to work in a field related to building modeling and inspiring the future generations and educating us about digital twins. I hope you have an amazing week, and we hope to see everyone on our next episode of Meet Our Sponsors with our next new guest. Thank you. Bye, everyone.